man don't know shit.
Hey gang, how you doing? Hope you're all well out there. Man, I'm excited for today. This is going to be a good one. In a couple of minutes, I'm going to be hanging out with my buddy, my pal, Mr. Rene De La Muerte, the lead singer and brainchild of the Brains, Psychobilly's finest. Man, we've toured together. We've done probably 35 or 40 shows together, hung out in all kinds of different weird places, and, basically raised hell all over together. And, he's a busy, busy man and doing all kinds of stuff. So I can't wait to, kind of get at his brain a little bit. So, yeah, we're going to do this. It's exciting. And, don't forget to hit subscribe to the YouTube channel. It really actually helps me out a lot. So if you can, please do that. And there's a PayPal link underneath for tips for the Be a Producer program. Any tip, 25 cents, 50 cents, $1, $5, whatever it is, it makes you the producer of the next episode. Direct support in the community style. So, yeah, we're going to do this. All right, let's get it on.
Man don't know shit.
My brother on the other side of the fucking country. How are you doing, man?
Good, good. Yeah, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. I think, what was it, last year? A year and a half ago? When was it?
At Turbo House.
Yeah, I think so. Was it?
Yeah, we were downstairs
partying
too. Oh, that's true too. Yeah. Fuck, we get around, eh?
Yeah, we always meet up in fancy places or weird places around the world.
Yeah, let's stick to weird places.
Exactly.
Where are you right now?
I'm in Vancouver. I'm in downtown. I live in a building. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, temperature is nice here right now. Yesterday was trying to snow, but it didn't.
Well, that's it. You guys don't get much snow at all out there.
No, I tried really hard. You could feel the air trying to snow, and I was like, wow. I know about snow because I've lived in Montreal for a long time.
Well, that's it. That's where we first met. Is in Montreal. Yeah. I remember because at that point you were playing with Delta 666. That's right.
Oh shit, that was 98, I think. Was it 98?
That sounds about right.
97, 90. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true. It was I was practicing at the Molson, what's it called? What's it called nowadays?
Cité 2000.
Cité 2000 it's called nowadays.
That's right. Yeah, we actually have a big loft there now.
Oh, nice. I think I was on the third floor, if I remember correctly. And I was with the band Delta 666 with James Prato. It was awesome. And these guys were awesome. They're twin, George and James, and Lucas was there too. I think they have other bands right now. They still playing. I think George was the bassist. He plays guitar now with his brother in another band, and I'm not sure if Lucas plays music anymore. I think he's doing a lot of video film productions and stuff like that.
Right. I remember it hitting me how loud you guys were. Fuck, that was a loud band.
And we were down tuned too.
Oh, okay, right.
We were down tuned in order to get more loudness. And I remember we needed to have the loudest amplifier. I was and the fucking distortion. You know how difficult it is to have a 1963 Gretsch stock, okay? Detuned with huge strings that don't fit at all on a fucking guitar that is not made at all for that. And dude, that was a pain in the ass. I was tuning every 3 fucking songs, or every song almost sometimes.
Did you have more issues, do you think, with the tuning or the feedback?
Oh yeah, and the feedback, that was intense in those years. I don't know why it was so intense. I just remember trying to buy these devices noise gates, trying to tone down the thing. But basically it was just that I was just overdriving the amplifiers, but it sounded so good, man. When it was playing together, it sounded so loud that you cannot reproduce that by having an amplifier low volume. You have to be loud.
Absolutely, but it's funny because I remember we were at the Cabaret in Montreal the first time I heard you guys play, and man, it wasn't just how loud, but it was for me, like I was still kind of new in Montreal at that point, you know what I mean? So everything was kind of new for me. I'm like, man, that's rock and roll. And I loved the band name Delta 666 as well. Like I love that
triangles on
had.
6. I think I still have. Where is it? Yeah, this one. That's one little stick that I had for the Delta 666 that I had.
Yeah.
But like, where did you come from at that point?
Well, see, I grew up in Vankleek-Hill, right, between Montreal and Ottawa. So it was really like small town country, but we had a recording studio there with a bunch of Jamaican friends and hippie friends and stuff, and everybody played reggae and blues and stuff like that, you know?
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Well,
so
it's funny.
You ended up there in like 96 and 97 or something like that?
Well, exactly. And then I was just like, I was living right down on Saint Laurent Pine, like right in the thick of it all, but everything was new to me. So like, I was so small town, like we only had one traffic light. Okay. And if you were cool, you could hang out by the traffic light.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I think when I arrived to Canada, I arrived to Montreal, and then the next day we went to Hull, which was
just outside of Ottawa. Yeah. Gatineau, Hull, beside Ottawa.
Yeah, I remember that too. And I remember then getting back to Montreal and thinking that, oh my God, like I was like maybe a year later after going to Ottawa, like I was like 5, 6 years old, and showing up back to Montreal, you know, and then realizing that the city was like so huge. Because I came from Chile, you know, I was like 4 years old when I left Chile, and I remember that. It's weird, like as a kid, how your memories are. It's so weird. It looks like it's like black and white in my head. And then arriving here at 4 years old, going to Ottawa, living there for like a year, then coming back to Montreal, it was like a very culture shock. Intense.
Absolutely.
And Montreal is just a crazy fucking place for driving, and drivers are just
the worst.
Yeah. I don't know. It got worse. You know who said that? Colin, the bassist for the Brain, which you interviewed him a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah.
I remember him when he showed up for the first time in Montreal, like with his band, and to do a tryout and do a couple of shows, and he was bitching about like the traffic. He was like, "Oh my God, this is crazy!" Like it's just. I'm like, "Have you been to like New York?" And I said, and then I remember I was at one time, I went to Peru, I think, and that was crazy. All the cars were like, all the taxis were different colors. You never knew which taxi it was, and the traffic lights, red, green, yellow, nobody cared. That was like, I was like, wow, you people are crazy here.
Yeah,
but,
man. It's
Montreal is pretty.
In Jamaica, it's the same thing, man. Like everybody's pretending to be a taxi driver and they're not at all, and they're just totally fucking fried.
What is going on, man?
You always have to ask.
Yeah, you always have to ask first, like, okay, how much for that? And then you end up when you end up doing that a couple of times, you become more aggressive. You're like, I got this much, I need to go over there. You want to get the deal or not? And then they go like, oh, okay. But if you don't do that, and you ask how much and all that, they always like charge you like a shit load. I'm
so happy you say that, because like I'm always buying like used gear and shit, right? And that's exactly how I do it. You know, no matter what price they have, I always call them up and like, look, man, I got this. Do you want it or not? You know what I mean? Exactly. That's the way to go about it.
Yeah, that's the hack into those things. You need to really go into that angle. If not, they get you, man. And I mean,
see,
it's fun.
I know where that negotiation culture comes from as well, right? So on the street level, we learn this.
Exactly. You just learn how to fucking hustle like left and right. But yeah, 98, 97, I remember that those times were like pretty cool.
Well, Montreal was a different thing back then too.
Yeah. I think Reverend Norton Heath was starting to show up. The Cramps were pretty big at those times. I think like they were playing a lot over there too, and like a lot of rockabilly bands were coming out. Wasn't it like the time of Brian Setzer Orchestra too?
I think so. Yeah. Because Stray Cats were done, and then he tried some solo stuff. Then he put the big band together, and he played Montreal a bunch of times. Yeah.
I think that's where it was. Wait, let me use some technology to see. Yeah, a little more accurate.
I think they played at the Jazz Fest, like right downtown, to like the biggest crowds ever. You know, those are spectacular shows.
Totally. That. Let me see.
The only other Montreal show that I could like say was as big or crazy or the energy of the night was probably James Brown for free on St. Catherine Street.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was the
Jazz
best show I
festival.
ever saw.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, man. Seriously, like, man, we always had like great shows in Montreal. I don't know how anymore, but you know, like, because I think I left like Montreal. I left like 4 years ago, I think now.
Yeah.
And last time I was over there, we played, which was a year and a half ago, but I was in the winter, so I couldn't really stay there to check out what's happening in the scene or anything like that.
Like that, fuck it, it's winter, man.
Fuck it. You stay wherever you are. You don't go out, you freeze, you know.
Yeah, man.
So
30. You were born in Chile. Like for a lot of our viewers, like I know there's people that probably, you know, don't really know where you're from, but see you're from somewhere else and always want to ask, but might be too shy. So was it your whole family moved to Montreal from Chile?
Yeah, can you pause 2 seconds? I'm getting a ring at the door. Somebody's delivering something.
Go for it. I can't really pause. I'll edit it after.
Okay, give me a second. Sorry.
I heard that some of you like ska music. If you fucking love ska music, make some goddamn noise.
There we go. Sorry.
Yeah, man. Delivery, my friend.
Some deliveries. This is the future. Like, can't go outside. Everything is closed down all the time. You just gotta. And like they deliver it, you don't even open the door. You just wait till they leave. Like,
that's it.
It's super futuristic, you know.
So yeah,
okay.
You were born in Chile and you moved to Montreal. Was that with the whole family?
Yeah. We come from like there was a war in the 70s over there. It started in 73. And I was born over there, and then eventually something happened that we ended up showing up in Canada as refugees. And then I knew Spanish. So we got here and I was like, what is this? Like, where are we? And like, I remember one thing, for people that don't know, in Quebec, we speak French, okay? So the rest of the Canada speaks English. So the province of Quebec has that. And the Quebecois has say a lot of things like, instead of saying yes, they say why, you know, which is we, but with like a, you know, like why, you know. They say a lot of other stuff like Chris, which are like, if you get onto that explanation, it's so weird because there are swear words about, how do you say that, church words?
Yeah, it's like, all religious swearing versus English, which is sex swearing, right? That's the
exactly.
difference.
It's so weird. So they use that on top of that, but they say Wayne Wayne. I remember like going to Ottawa, like I was saying previously, and going to in Hull. There's like a couple of like parks with like water, and there's some ducks. And the first time I saw ducks in my life, I was like, "What is this, ducks?" So like. And I kept hearing, you know, wang, wang. And I was like, wow, Mom, they sound like those people that talk in here when they say wang, wang. I didn't understand that they were saying yes to other conversation as a kid, you know. You know, when you're a kid, you're holding your mom's hand like this while they're talking to other people. And then you have translators. And then they go, wang, wang, je comprends, you know. And I was like, what the hell is this sound, you know? So I remember that. That's the first connection of that sound to the ducks saying quang, quang, to wang, and then weird things, but I learned that really fast. I was talking Spanish by the age of 2 years old, so then by four and a half, 5, I really knew French right away completely. And then I learned English by watching Sesame Streets. I don't know if anybody, does that even exist still, Sesame Streets on TV?
Yeah, man. That's when, you know, all the kids watching and all the adults are smoking spliffs and watching it with the kids, and everybody's laughing.
Everybody's like, yeah, this is the best show ever. It is so cool for you when you watch it, so weird, dude.
Yeah, man.
That you don't realize when you're a kid.
That's right. When you were young, like, you know, still living with the family and stuff, do you come from a musical family?
I think the rest of the families that's in Chile, my mom and my dad's side, are a lot of like musicians over there. But on my immediate family, no, I'm the only one, basically.
Yeah, it skips
Like,
generations sometimes, right?
Yeah, but like one thing is that a lot of music was played in my home when I was a kid. A lot, and a lot of like Latin music, like from like merengue, salsa, tango. Even tango is so old. Tango is like the equivalent of jazz music for Latin Americans. Like it's the old jazz. You have the but over there they have dun, 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 dun. But it's the same
Putting on the
thing.
Ritz.
It's the same thing. Yeah, I used to listen to a lot of like music, everything, and I don't know. I got into a lot of like in those years, the machines that you used to play music was either a vinyl, a cassette was kind of newish, and the 8 tracks were really popular when I was a kid.
Especially in the car, right?
Oh, in the cars, like that's the thing. And you, as a kid, you always wanted to push the buttons because it just went like and like just started another song. You're like, this is amazing, like you don't understand what it is productions in music. You just like know that you have this plastic thing that you put into this thing, and you push a button, and then it goes. And then a song plays, and if you push the other button, it just switches song. You're like, this is amazing, You don't have to wait for the song. If it sucks, it's just, And yeah, so I got used to a lot of like those pushing buttons. And then I got very curious about like opening cassette players when they were like, I was finding in the garbage. I'm like, what is this? And components and then like volumes. And I got really interested into understanding how you could transfer the music if I wanted to duplicate it. And that was a weird concept for me as a kid, because like I didn't get it really. I knew that if I had a machine that would record, like when you have like, because you had those little portable cassettes before.
Yeah.
And like every dad had that somehow, so and they would dictate shit on it, like, okay, remember this. They were like huge like this. And so I remember that and I was like, huh. And then one day, listening to my dad recording something, the music was playing in the background. I'm like, what if he doesn't talk and I put this machine next to that song? So I started doing my own mixtapes by putting that machine in front of the songs that I liked that I had on vinyls. And I was like, 7 years old? And I was like, okay. That was my first touch of like understanding what it was to put something on tape and be able to push play, and then it was your songs only.
That's the start of your career, man. That's amazing.
So
and look at you now, because like one of the things I really wanted to talk to you today, because like we've worked together. You mastered the Ska Moans album, our second album.
Oh, that was so fun, man, mastering that. So cool to hear your Ramones version of it. So cool. I was like, what the hell? I know this song too.
well, that's it. And like, as we got to know each other better, I realized how many projects that you got involved in. I mean, you record, you master, you produce, you play guitar, you sing, you write songs, you make records, you tour. I mean, you're living
I play drums
the
too
life.
for Nekromantix, which is like fucking crazy learning drums at that age.
That's fucked up, man. I love it.
You can really push your body. You can really push your body. Like if you really want to, you push it, and it follows. But yeah, man. Well, like a lot of production. I think I started like recording like the first time was like the real recordings were in '96, I would say, when I was recording with Delta 666. But prior to that, I was recording on 4 tracks all my projects. I had bands with like let's say. Okay, Gutter Demons from Montreal.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Hey, buds.
So Flipper, me and Flipper, when we were like, 19, I think, or something like that, 18, 19, we had a band. We were doing covers of Meteors and Stray Cats and Del Shannon or whatever, all the shit that we knew from the 50s and 60s, I know we were doing that, so I know him for a long time, but those were 4 tracks recording, and that doesn't exist anymore. And then I remember getting into Delta 666 eventually later on, and that's when we started going to real studio. And man, because the thing is that, okay, so that's like 96, 97. before that, let's say, well, let me see. 90, 92. I think in 92, 93, I started cleaning Studio Victor. I was like a maid over there. Like I was like, just, that was my job. I got there at 9 in the morning and I could stay all day if I wanted in the studio, okay? And my job was just to clean the fucking studio. So I went when there was no session and I had a schedule, like the next day they told me like, okay, between this time and this time, you could clean the studio because there was like no session between. Man, those studios were like so busy in those years, man. Like from Celine Dion to Rock Voisin, like if you Google those names, Celine Dion and Rock Voisin, Mitsu and all those like big stars from Quebec, they were recording at that studio. And so like, that was the first time I got really close to a big studio, and I started doing little sessions for fun there. Nothing came out really out of it. I was working with tape, and then 97 came in. I recorded with Delta 666, and we went to a studio. We're not using tape anymore. Reel-to-reel technology was changing. We were using cassettes, like VHS cassettes. They're called DAT or ADAT.
DATs, ADATs. Yeah. I used to have 3 of them linked, and they never sync properly when you have to rewind them.
Yeah. Exactly. It's fucking hell.
Yeah, man.
Because I was working in that technology. We recorded, and then I remember like we were mixing, and it was not good. And I remember telling the guy, just let me do it. So like he pushed play, and I started tweaking stuff. I never got credit of it, but I remember really like I enjoyed so much that I was like, this is the last time I let somebody record me and mix me. I'm like, I got good ears. I know how it works. I think I can do something with this. So then I started just getting more into this and understanding the technology till I ended up joining Vulgar Deli.
Oh, with Uncle Costa.
Yeah. Vulgar
Costa,
Deli.
how you doing, brother?
Cool. Yeah, super cool. Hi, Costa. Super cool band, man, like hardcore rock and roll. I remember like it was, okay, so Delta 666, we were playing, we did our recording, everything, blah, 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 shows. One day, like, I think I didn't have a band anymore. I think I got kicked out of Delta 666.
Wasn't it your band?
I know. I got kicked out of it. I'm like, why? Like, anyways. So I'm walking in the street, and then Costa used to have this loud ass van. I had like half a muffler, you know, with holes
probably
in the
still
back.
like that.
And I hear like, oh, it's not a thing. And he's like, hey, bro, how you doing? I'm like, oh, it's Costa. How you doing, man? Because I met him, you know, in the scene and like playing at the Jalas Rock Cafe. Remember that bar?
Absolutely. I had Dom on the show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man.
Hi, Dom. That was super fun, man. That was a good trampoline for a lot of bands. Like, it was a good stage. The sound was great. It smelled a lot like beers everywhere. So that meant that it was party time all the time. So
absolutely. and Rudolph, the Wonder Dog.
Oh, dude, so many cool memories of that. But so I'm walking in the street. Costa shows up. He's like, hey, I need a guitarist to do solos for Vulgar Deli. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Because at that time, I think prior to that talk in the van a year before, I was roadie for Vulgar Deli.
Bro, I'm about to freak you out. No, check this. I'm about to freak you out. I had a phone call one day to come visit, and you were doing guitar tracks for Vulgar Deli in the studio. I think Jonathan Cummings was there. Is that possible?
Oh, yeah. I'll get to that.
I had to drop in and see you for a second back then. And how fucked up is that, man? You're talking about the story, and I dropped in for a second. I remember you were playing with the amp, getting your sound. Exactly the story you're talking about right now.
Well, yeah. With Jonathan Cummings, that was like another thing too. But yeah, so I got there at Vulgar Deli. So I was, prior to that, a year before, I was like roadie. My job was to light up cigarettes for them and to check that they had their drinks and bring the gear in. But most of all, light cigarettes. Whole show. Light cigarettes. I had a fucking pack just for the band. Trust me, Costa smokes a shitload, and everybody smoking that band. It was just crazy. So whatever, I was fucking doing that shit. Fucking, okay, cigarettes, drinks, okay, cool. That was my job. And then after that, he's like, "Hey, you want to play guitar?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I'll go. I'll try that." So we started practicing. I was replacing Johnny Montreal. So Johnny Montreal became the first bassist of the Brains too. That's went to Frank O'Brien, who was the drummer of Vulgar Deli. At that point, he became the drummer for the Brains originally.
Right.
Danny Duke was there too. He did Ali Duke's, which I ended up playing drums for him on a tour. It was just this all band incest that exists in Montreal. It's like everybody's just playing with their. Nobody knows. Yeah, exactly. Nobody knows. It was cool, man. And I did. So we did like the album with Jonathan Cummins, who was in
the Doughboys.
He had Bionic and Doughboys. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. Doughboys was
Bionic was fucking wicked,
and Bionic was fucking tight, man. That thing was a wall of sound, man. Yeah, he was producing. I remember that too. That he said, because remember we were talking about like how distortion I was so loud and feedback all the time. So he's the one who showed me why it was like that. So I ended up understanding that I was cranking way too much my preamp section, and then the pedals on top of that were just like saturating. So he's like, "Just tone down everything." I'm like, "It's gonna suck." He's like, no, just tone down. I'm like, "It just sucks that the Gretchen doesn't react the same way, man." And he's like, "Yeah." But looking back, he was right. He was right about it. He knew like more than me, and I didn't know. And I was
if you have a good power section on some amps anywhere, like I had this Ignitor amp, which was the coolest because it had EL34s and what's the other ones there? EL34s and the 6L6s in the power amp stage, right? So what I would do is turn down the preamps to about say 2 or 3 between there, but max out the post. The most rock and roll sound I ever had.
I know, that's the thing, but it's so fucking loud though.
Well, that's it, yeah, man.
Because you're saturating just enough the tubes, so it just like doesn't doesn't compress. It's just like saturating, but you're doing that on both stages. The preamp section and the post section. That's what sounds amazing.
Fuck yeah!
But it's so fucking loud. That's why they invented the little cube that you put on top now, which lets you do that, but attenuates the sound going.
It's called the Variac.
Yeah, that's really cool invention they did.
Yeah, man. But, that was how Eddie Van Halen got his brown sound, was by using that. That was the secret.
Oh, cool. Because he has such a mid-tone, and it's all like saturation, really like nice harmonics. But you can see that it wasn't crackling the speakers, because that's what happens if you crack too much. If you power your amp too loud, you start cracking the speakers, which is cool too. But you don't want to record that because it sounds like fart sometimes. And
in the late 60s, when they were just starting to get overdrive, they used to take razor blades and slice the speakers.
Yes,
just for that
reason. It did the zzz sound. Sound. I know. I heard that with Jimi Hendrix. It's like, what the fuck are you guys thinking, man? Like,
man.
But
so
list
me some of the bands that you've been working on, like producing wise. Who you've been working with?
Let's see, who did I have done so far? Let's do backwards. So recent to oldest.
All right.
I just finished Root City Riot.
Yeah, man. Stomp Records out of Vancouver.
Stomp Records.
Scott.
Yeah. And I did that, and it was really fun. It took like 5 months, man. It was a long process, because we did like from the beginning they brought their demo songs, okay, to me, like with the beatbox sometimes, and like whatever they could add, just a click track, and me bringing it to my little studio here behind me and doing some cuts on the song itself, explaining that maybe it needs like a little longer parts here, because that's what you do as a producer. Like your job is to take the songs and just try to make it a little more memorable, because songs, it's easy. A song is just one melody basically, but to make it more memorable, you need to create moods in it, and that's what the producer will do. Like you can have an intro and an outro, a verse, but verse 2 wouldn't be the same. Even if it's the same note, you need to create the mood. Then choruses, maybe the choruses, you want to keep it nice, but then, make the second chorus a little more, like exciting. So that's what I did. We kind of worked the songs. After we did that, we created some templates, and we went to see Flavio Cirillo, and this is the drummer who worked. This is fucked up too. So there's a plugin called Easy Drum or
Easy Beats.
no,
Is that the one?
It's like no, it's like a virtual drummer. And right. So Bob Rock, who did the Metallica album, the black one, okay, he records in Vancouver. He has a studio here.
That's right.
There's so many great studios here in Vancouver. It's just amazing, man. So anyways, Bob Rock has this thing, which he did the Black Album of the Metallica. So, but he had a project with this company. I think it's called Easy Drumming or Easy Drum. And they sampled drum sounds for the app. Okay. So the app, what it does is that you bring it to Pro Tools on a track when you don't have a drummer and you have already a beat per minute, so you know your beat, and then you just create some drums, so the drummer can go like it's da, 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 or like whatever you want. But every sound you hear comes from a real drum, which is recorded somewhere in the world. So that they created a new kind of template or like a new bundle, let's say.
Yeah, exactly.
And so the drummer playing the samples and the drums, like the drums were from somebody owns those drums. So it's Flavio, the guy that I went to record for the new Root City Riot. So he explains to me this, and I'm like, what? You're like the guy who were in the samples of this thing? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh man, I've heard your sound. He's like, yeah. And I mean, all these recordings. I'm like, what? So then I realized that the guy that I'm recording, and he's such a good drummer, man. That guy, I was like,
well, they're a tight fucking band, eh?
Yeah, we would say right, but that drummer, dude, like you could just tell him this. You could tell him just like, can you go da 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 do 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 da? And for some people watching this right now, they're gonna be like, what the fucker did you just say? Da 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 do 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 da.
I totally get it.
If you talk to a drummer or any musician, they would get it. They would get that it's like a snare, tom, da 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 do 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 da. Okay, yeah. And so I was telling him like talking drum language with him, and he was like on the top, man, like right away. This, like can you go like a little much with like, and he did it right away, and he was so good. So that was the first part. Then we did that. We did the rest here in my apartment through DIs, which after we used other stuff. Then we went to another little studio, like I rented for a couple of days. It was just one room, and it had a closet. And so we just put some blankets in there, brought the mics, and then we recorded vocals in there. We brought brass, was it saxophone? Johnny from
Johnny Mac.
Mr.
McCormick.
Yeah, super cool.
Absolutely.
That guy, he's a party animal.
Oh, we had a lot of fun, man. He did a tour with us. He subbed in our band for a whole cross-Canadian tour there. We had a good old time.
yeah, he's cool. So we had him there. What else? We did some back vocals, anything else like that. Then we finished some parts at this school here that's called Nimbus. And we did some parts over there too. Some like cowbell. Yes, we had to put cowbell. Yeah, so that was cool with them. We just finished. I just finished the mixes. It's all sent now. They're like working on producing it. Prior to that, I did the latest, The Brains, Satana Tarantula, that I recorded in LA in my studio over there.
And I had that in on the car ride after work today. I was blasting that. I played the entire album, and then I played Drunk Not Dead as well. And which is one of my, I gotta admit, one of my favorite albums that you guys have done. But the new one, the sound is fantastic on it.
Yeah, it's different.
Like I gotta tell the people out here, like one thing that I love about you is your guitar playing. I always love your guitar solos. Very memorable, very in style. Like I always know it's you by the sound of how you play. I mean, I've had the chance to hear you play live lots and lots and lots of times.
We went on tour together.
I know why we're laughing too.
Dude.
I like that
so
fun.
many fucking hotel room parties after the shows. Nobody knows that that's what happened.
God damn.
Might know.
I think I'm still recovering.
Oh God. I probably lost a lot of age over there.
Yeah,
but
man.
yeah, no, that album, Tarantula, was pretty cool. Like when we did it in LA, the guys decided to come by for like a couple of weeks for just recording, and we didn't even finish. Like, I don't think. Okay, first of all, we had some songs only, and we didn't have all lyrics at all. We just had songs, and they rented a little apartment over there, and we went to write extra songs or extra parts for the songs. It's the same thing. That's what I wanted to explain just before as a producer. Like, it's exactly the same thing, because like I write in my Pro Tools. That's my studio program. Okay, so I write in there, and I use that same session to record the real thing on top of it. So if you go back in time of that same session, you can always find the demo behind every track hidden underneath, you know. It's the same thing. So on that, I do production, you know, by myself with the guys next to me explaining, okay, we're going to do this, you know. So we did that.
I've done that technique exactly the same before. And as a songwriter, like it's a great way to do it. You know what I mean? It's basically, you know, once you get your tempo in, you're good to go, right? And, you know, you're just building up as songwriting. Then, you know, you can mute it all and it's all there and build right on top of it. It's a fantastic way to do it. I love doing that.
It works. It's like an extension of like, I don't know, like, it's really just put your idea right away in the computer, and then from there you keep growing at the same time. Because like just doing a demo and then like really again putting another mapping and opening, it's cool too, you know. But I'm the guy doing the fucking thing, so fuck it. I'm just gonna be in it right away. You know?
Well, you're on your time too, right?
Yeah, but that was really fun because like we did the drums, bass. I did some guitar only, and then I think we started touring again. So I put it on pause a bit for like a month, I think, and then we ended up meeting in Prague. Yes, we met in Prague 4 days prior to start a tour, because I was in LA playing with Nekromantix and stuff like that, and actually like I'm in the DVD. What's it called? Dark Hole. What's it called? I did a DVD with the Nekromantix.
Yeah, I'm terrible with remembering shit in general.
Damn it. Wait, let me see.
But they're a wicked legendary band. It's crazy because like I'm aware like of the whole Bat Records as well and all this, right? And then you're playing with the Nekromantix on drums, which is just mind blowing.
Yeah, that is fucked up, man. Like even for me, I was like, wow. What the hell? What is this thing?
Well, it's that whole concept about really always saying yes, right?
Wait, this is really bothering me. Let me find it.
But that must have been something going on.
Oh, 3 decades of Dark Hole. Damn it. Sorry, Ken. 3 decades. 3 decades of Dark Hole. That's and so I just did that thing because that's a DVD that I'm playing the drums on live up to like in a show. And then I recorded the audio of it in multi-track too with 2 machines in case one would break during the show, the other one was still working, and then they would have the time to rearrange the one that's fucked up to continue working in case the second one breaks, you know. Because you never know with frequencies and low end and rumble, if sometimes computer are really sensitive, they kind of sometimes they crash, you know. And it's for a DVD we were doing that. So 2 machines. I recorded and mixed that thing. Sure. Yeah, so I mixed that at the little studio in LA, and the mastering too came out in Cleopatra Records, which is the same company that we are doing for my label that I have, which is Batcave Records. We did a split kind of ownership of this album for Satana Tarantula. We're owning it with Cleopatra and Batcave, so we can promote a little better for that, you know?
Yeah, man.
But see, so we ended up in Prague, and that was cool, man, to meet the guys um, after like so many months of not hanging out or playing music of the brains, and then just getting back into the project again. So I brought my computer, a smallest audio device to record some microphone or a guitar or anything inside if I needed to add extra stuff, and a microphone for the vocals. And we did all the lyrics over there in a balcony in Prague for 3-4 days, and it was fun, man.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
How do you feel about, like, you know, because okay, this is what I'm going through right now. You know, with COVID and everything, it's been hard to get together as a full band right now, right? And
Yeah.
we have to come out with this new album. We start recording in April, and for the first time ever, like, you know, we don't have 14 or 16 songs all 100% prepared and, you know, rehearsed. So I think I think a couple of songs I'm going to leave the lyrics on purpose off until the recording stage, because I want to see how I feel having that deadline, you know, like it needs to be done now and get a bit of that into it.
It really works to have like that pressure for lyrics. It kind of puts you to it, because whenever you have like a year to write lyrics, you're like, whatever. But it's better when you have everything, the whole song is ready. Like, I mean, you can have like an idea when you're writing a song. Let's say I'll take what I want, like when I go, well, I'll take what I want. Well, I knew already that it needed to go like,
I will live
you know,
forever.
I had that. You know, I had that. You know, it's without the lyric, you can hear it. Like, so I was writing the song, but it works. So same thing for Zatara Tarantula. And so when we did the lyrics and we finished the tour, I went back to LA, and then I did all the vocals there. And since the guys were not there, Colin and Guy, to do back vocals, I told them, okay, you guys do some back vocals on all the songs. You don't need to do too many tracks, so maybe 4 max, both together. Figure out some stuff, what you want to do. Send me that at least 4 tracks, basically, so together. And they went to a little studio. They sent me a picture. I'm gonna have to find. You have to find that picture. I'm gonna have to find it for you. You go on the Brains MTL. They posted it. They're in studio. It's anyways, and then after
Good silliness.
that, you have to post it on the image if you can. And then in LA, meanwhile, since I did a label, I have these bands that I'm working with, and like the Thirsty Crows are there too. And Thirsty Crows, they're a pretty cool band, man.
I can't wait to hear it.
And so they did like back vocals, and I invited Daniel from Resurrex, who was there too. I invited Frank from Nekromantix, who was there too. So Thirsty Crows. Jack Cash was there from the Misfits, who we just released a video on Bad Cave Records recently. So he's there too, doing back vocals. It was fun, man. Like claps and like for rhythmic and gang vocals. So that was pre-COVID, you know, and it was weird that we were like getting into that mood by working from far away, and I figured it out how to do it, you know, and it's funny because now everybody's using that technique nowadays. Like they record at their home, and then another guy in another place puts all the images together, and you have these videos, you know. Like
we were just talking about that because we did a couple of those as well, and it's just like, you know, it shows you how long COVID is, because people got bored of that. Remember at the start there was like, you know, what, 50 videos a day coming out like that, but then slowly it went down. Now you're not seeing people do that much anymore. It's like, okay, they all look the same, we got it, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But you see, like how you work remotely, that's what we did at that point, and so it worked really, really awesome. So that was that. And meanwhile, I'm working into a lot of like different projects. Like I work for I do mastering, and so mastering, okay, so let me explain something in case some people want to know. There's a couple of terms here that I'm going to be using, okay, a little further. So I'm going to use producer. So that's the guy who takes care of listening to your songs, rearranging it a little bit for you, or telling you you're in the right direction, whatever it is, like a coach almost. So that's producer. Mixer, mixing engineer. It's a guy who, when you recorded everything, he mixes. So to make a drum sound really good, you need to actually have different faders. Faders are like which all the mics go in, which you can have a kick drum, a snare, overhead microphones, and all that. So that's the mixing engineer. He's going to like take care of doing a nice mix. Okay. Then there's the recording engineer too, that just takes care, knows physics. Okay. So that he knows like, if I place this microphone here, it's going to react this way. So then I will have to do this with this machine to keep the levels right for the machine to record it. Okay. Whatever device you're using, tape, digital, whatever. That's the guy who does that. All right, so that's that. When all that is done, they send you that to a guy who does mastering. Okay, the mastering, what it does is that since in studios you have these super nice speakers that you can hear everything, they're transparent, we call them. So that means that whatever you hear in the real room with your ears, like a cymbal sound, these speakers, if you use the right microphone, will reproduce what you hear in that room. Okay,
precisely.
So the problem is with these speakers that they have in studios, they're so expensive that consumers like you and me, or when we're not in studios, we have devices like these ones or shitty speakers, you know? So if we would put those mixes straight from that studio, it would sound really dull. It would sound actually bassy and missing some treble and missing some kind of attitude like in the voice, because humans are really prone to hear midsection high. That's why our voice is that frequency, you know? So the mastering engineer, he's gonna take your tracks that are mixed already and tweak it a bit through compressors of frequencies and add some frequencies on it. So the speakers are shitty, sound kind of okay. It's a fucked up fucking job, but
well, that's it. But do try different speakers, because I know sometimes when I go through it, I'll put it in the car, I'll put it on a device, I'll put it through the home stereo.
Yeah. Well, these ones are all the big ones that you see. These ones are the big studio ones. The bottom here, the little ones here, the GBLs.
What are those? I can't see. Is that a KRK or JBL? You said?
These are KRK, the big ones.
Yeah,
and
I have the same ones.
JBL. They're like my shitty speakers. Those ones, like I place everything when I do mastering, and those ones, they tell me exactly that it's to bottom or midsection, you know. And that's the problem. And a lot of like the speakers that you have at home, they don't handle good the mids and mid lows and low end. You know, you have a lot of good treble and mid high, you know, which is okay. Mm-hmm. So because of that, sometimes your mixes, you need to be sure that they don't have too much treble, but just enough, and you have to tone down some bottom end, but at the same time keep it at a certain range so it doesn't sound like you kind of don't have bass, you know. It's a pain in the ass, but it's worth it. And it's more pain in the ass to make it for a vinyl master, because that is not even the same thing as this.
Well, that's it.
This thing is another.
It's cool because you're talking about how engineers have to be physics. It's because this is all science.
Yeah, it really is science, crazy shit. And like, so then there's another new job that appeared recently. So that was like the studio, then you do mastering, okay? Then you deliver shit. But then it's called a remix. So, but the remix is not a remix, what you think. They don't give you all the tracks and you have like your 24 tracks or 150 tracks like rappers have nowadays, or whatever it's called these days, the music. It's actually, they give you like, let's say, just the drums in stereo, just a bass, just guitars or vocals. Sometimes they even just give you like instrumental version and the voices. And then you can add extra stuff, you know? So you do that, that's like remixing. But on top of that, now there's another job, because the mastering needs to fit in many devices, like again, showing this, because it's another format nowadays. So in order to do a better mastering, they actually send you, they're called stem tracks. So they send you the drums, the bass, the guitars, the vocals, all exactly at the right setup. So if you do, you can just put your faders at normal, and if you push play, it should sound like the song, and then you can do mastering. And this helps a lot because, let's say you want to do a vinyl thing, you can actually tweak the bottom end of the bass itself and the drum instead of tweaking the whole mix bottom end, because sometimes the guitar, you still want to keep a little bit of bottom, and then by gluing it together. So they do that. So the job got a lot more job. So
it's a whole other job. I mean, you know, as much as mastering is a job or mixing, I mean, same.
It's a new job.
Yeah.
It's like an in-between job of two now. you know, and it's like, okay, well, whatever, I'll do that. So I do
Man,
a lot of that.
how do you juggle
mastering for hip
time?
hop.
How do you
You
juggle
just
time? I
do
mean,
it.
you're always on something, right?
You just do it. Like I have to do some work after this. I have to
Mm-hmm.
turn around and I'm gonna do some mastering again for another artist on Batcave record called
Yeah,
her
man.
name is Jesso Lantern. So I got to finish some stuff. So I'm doing that. Finishing some Campfire Shit Kicker. It's a band from Vancouver. And I'm working with other bands, like let's say here, like I'm doing like Rebel Priest is in there too. It's like a rock band. They're pretty
Nice.
cool.
Man, you got all these bands you're working with right now. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we're gonna have to you know, call it an end here in a second because I'm running out of time in my recording space here. And but what I did realize right away is we're gonna do this again real soon. We'll do a part 2 to it because there's definitely more to get into on that.
Yeah,
absolutely. But before we leave, Rene, this is what we started asking every guest, and this is season 2
but
of the
before we
podcast
leave, we have to take a puff at least.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm all in, man. What? My lighter just died.
It's legal here.
There we go.
Weed is legal in Canada.
That's right. Woohoo! It's celebration.
We have to say it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. I need to hear from you 3 albums that everybody should listen to at least once and 1 guilty pleasure. What you got for me?
Let's start with the guilty pleasure. I really like the album from Muse called Simulation Theory. I find that album has so much dynamic in it and colors. And I'm so impressed with the way that they did the work on that. I know there's a lot of money involved, but it sounds really good.
Oh, that's cool. I'll check it out. I don't know that one.
Yeah, it's like it has a lot of synth, but it's good. It sounds good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Check out all the Brains and Nekromantix.
There you go. The Brains, Nekromantix, and
go check out Batcave Records. You're gonna see all the cool stuff in there, like, you know. But I mean, like, just go check what I work to. If you Google my name, you can see like a lot of work that I do. Go check it out. You'll see that there's a lot of like similarities in like in the drum production and stuff like that. And they're all good bands that I've worked with. Sometimes they were very
what
difficult.
Should people search for? Like, should they look under the
Brains?
Just
Rene De La Muerte, Rene De La Muerte Productions, or Rene De La Muerte an Engineer, or I think there's even like a website that has like this, all my albums. Like I sometimes I go there to see just like, what did I do already? I see like, oh yeah, I did that. Yeah, like, okay, I remember that. But yeah, most important people, they need to fucking stay like safe these days. So, you know, keep listening to good music and stay in touch with your friends and help them if they need them in these dark times. So that's important, you know.
That's it. Love you, brother. It's good to see your face. Yeah, man.
All right. So
we'll
let's
talk
do
real
a part
soon.
Two.
Absolutely. I'm going to go stock up on some more weed. Peace.
All right. Peace.
Boom. Came and don't know shit.